Pete, what's up, dude? I'm sorry about this, man. I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know. Like, okay, whatever. I'll just ask you a question again. Ohio State, daily life versus Saints, daily life. Like, what's it like?
Did you guys hear my previous response?
No, both times, right? When you started to talk, it completely cut off. So good. Hey, look, Pete, you got to workshop the answer now. This is the third time, so you can change things about it.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was just saying before how Saints has such a professional feel to it. You're not told where to go, where to be, like Ohio State. You got to be so accountable at Ohio State, and with the Saints, you're getting paid to play there. So you're expected to do things, and yeah, I just like the feel. It's not too crazy. You don't have to be at the facility for 10 hours a day at Ohio State like you did. Like I have to do now. So I've been there for a month, and it's been awesome. Learning a lot, meeting a lot of great guys. So I'm just looking forward to be back for training camp July 25th.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Everything you just said there was even echoed by Janoris Jenkins recently, where he was on a podcast talking about like all the organizations he played for and how the Saints are elite for just that reason, right? Like they treat you like an adult. Like, yeah, this is the pros, man. You got to show up. You got to do your thing. Pete, for you entering the pros, you enter with a lot of expectation on your shoulders, and not just because you had like a stellar college career, first team All Big Ten, all that kind of stuff, but like there's a large portion of the Saints fan base that is expecting you to play and play right away. Is that something that you kind of engage with when you look at your role and here in year number one?
Of course, and being a second round pick, you got that pressure behind your back, but you got to take responsibility. When your number is called, you got to go out and compete and earn everything that you do. So I'm just excited to get my name called, and the spots that I'm put in, the situations that I'm put in the games or whatever. I'm ready to compete because of the high expectations I've been given.
One thing that's also, I think, always fantastic, right? Like we've certainly been thinking about this with your counterpart Peyton Turner, as well as you enter a room with a couple of legends, right? For Turner, it's Cam Jordan. For you, it's Demario Davis. We're talking about like a multi-time NFL All-Pro linebacker. What's it like all of a sudden going from, you're the big dog at Ohio State, and then now you're sharing a room with an alpha among NFL guys?
Yeah, it's a weird feeling at the start. I mean, you talk about a 23-year-old kid talking to a bunch of 30-year-olds with 4 kids in a room. It's like, how do I relate to this dude? How can I talk to this dude and ask good enough questions for him to actually sit there and listen to me? So it's been great to have the opportunity to pick somebody like Demario's brain. It's great to be in the room with his leadership. I've learned that from these guys that your work ethic and how you earn every little thing that you do is going to be the way that gains their trust. So that's what I'm trying to do as much as possible.
We're talking to Pete Werner, 60th overall pick in the 2021 draft, Saints linebacker. Pete, it's been an interesting offseason for the Saints where they've kind of eschewed the traditional mini camps and OTAs, at least from the outside reporting, right? Which is tough. We're trying to describe like the room by looking through a keyhole. But the reports seem to be that there's been like less on the field work, maybe more weight room and classroom sort of work. What has been the kind of schedule and experience thus far in the offseason?
Gotcha. So we didn't really put on a helmet or anything. The only time I put on a helmet was back for rookie minicamp. But once we got into OTAs and minicamp, it was all maybe 7-on-7 based, a lot of individual work, a lot of work with just linebackers and workouts at the beginning. So I would get there and I would have a workout at the beginning and then go to individual drills and then would have meetings in the afternoon. But there was nothing physically like tolling on your body. It was just it was a mental game. I mean, I had 3 or 4 weeks to learn a lot of different plays, a lot of the defense, and now I've just been studying that leading up till the start of training camp. But nothing too crazy in your body, and it was a pretty cool process.
It's kind of wild coming from college, isn't it? I mean, I don't know how you did things at Ohio State, but like back in the old Les Miles days at LSU, I mean, we're talking like full padded, 3-hour practices every single day. It's Sean Payton does things a little bit differently, huh?
He does, and I'm starting to like it. Nothing like Ohio State banging heads, Oklahoma drill, all that type of stuff. It's kind of nice feel to it.
How about this? I feel like a lot of times when you're talking about making that jump from college to the NFL, it is the mental aspect that can be the most daunting or just the toughest, right? The biggest challenge.
Right.
Is that kind of what you're seeing, experiencing?
100%. The guys that do well that I've learned from are the ones that have the strong mental side of the game. The guys that know where they're at, where they're supposed to go, can recognize certain formations and know exactly what's going to happen. The smart guys are the ones that make it. And obviously, the physicality part helps, but it is for sure a mental game. It's just so much more complex than at the college level. That if that mental side of the game is not right, then you won't be able to produce. But yes, that's 100% the one thing that I've learned that's very important.
Where do they have you repping right now, Pete, in terms of position?
They have me at the will spot right now.
Okay. I know just like from reading draft profiles like back in the day and stuff, a lot of people projecting you as a Sam. How do you kind of feel about playing the weak side spot?
Well, I played it my senior year in college, and there has some carryovers, but I was out in space a lot early years in college playing a Sam linebacker, but having this past year being a will linebacker, that has helped me out a bunch. So I'm very excited to have that carryover. So, again, very excited about that.
Dude, have you ever been to the Superdome or a Saints game or anything?
Have I been?
Yeah.
The only time I was there is when we played Clemson in the Superdome this past year, and we beat them. So I got some good vibes heading into New Orleans. But that was the one time I played there, and I loved it.
Okay, hell yeah, dude. Okay, so yeah, you've already made plays on that field. You got plenty more coming up this fall. Okay, allow me to wrap up with a very, very sports talky question here. Have you had or if you have you had a kind of welcome to the NFL moment where you were kind of struck where like, okay, this is the contrast. Like, this is how things are going to be different from here on out.
I'm going to go back, not anything particular now. I'm sure I will when I see training camp, but throughout OTAs and minicamp, I mean, it was just so individually focused, just showing up, lifting, and then working out, and then you're kind of done from there after a lot of meetings. But I'm sure when I get to training camp and have to do a bunch of things that rookies are supposed to do in the NFL, I'll understand that this is kind of how it goes. But as of now, I haven't really had that moment other than showing up the first day and having to do a long conditioning test and then doing it right when I had to leave. So
fun.
That was fun. But I'm sure training camp is going to be the defining moment, and that's what I'm going to be looking forward to.
What was the conditioning test at Ohio State? Were y'all running 110s or 300s or something?
It was pretty similar to the Saints. We were running 300s, and we had to do 2 of them. At the Saints, we have to do 3 of them, but we just have a longer time you got to make your time and longer amount.
Okay, last one here, Pete, for real this time. But what about New Orleans, man? I know, like you said, a lot of time at the facility, you're so hyper-focused. You got all this pressure on you. Have you been able to kind of see the city at all yet?
Yeah, I have. And, I've gone out with Peyton and Ian and Paulson, all those guys. I've gone out and gone to places to eat. We had to walk down Bourbon Street, obviously, one time to see what that's about. But that was a good time. But yeah, there's a bunch of good spots to eat. So we got some time off in the afternoon, so we would always go out to eat. And I've never been a big seafood guy, so now I came back to Indy and ordered salmon at dinner, and I was like, what am I doing? I'm not a seafood guy.
Oh, man, a changed man already. Yeah, you got to get a fried shrimp po' boy, bro, for sure. Pete Werner,
exactly.
60th overall pick, Ohio State great. Now on your New Orleans Saints. Pete, thank you so much for waking up with us this morning and kind of shuffling around last minute.
Of course. Thank you guys for having me.
All right, Pete, take it easy, bro. All right, when we get back, we'll close out hour number 2. Hopefully, we can re-hook up with Peyton Turner to kick off hour number 3. We will see. Keep it locked right here on Off the Bench.